Do you ask leading questions in your D&D game? Hi, I'm Storn Cook. Welcome to Tabletop Tip of the Day. Today I talk about how to use leading questions. And this is a bit of an expansion of my very first tabletop tip episode ever, and I wanted to come back to that. So whether you're a GM or a PC at a table, leading questions is a great jump starter not only to role-playing scenes, but also to world building. But let's check on the dictionary to see what a leading question is. It is a question that prompts or encourages the desired answer. Now, I think the key takeaway for gaming is the definition a question that prompts. We as gamers don't really want a desired answer. That is for lawyers, and it's the realm of railroading. If there's just one right answer, you know, where's there a place to go? Where's there a place to expand outside of the realms of that question? We want to be surprised and have something to react to. So, for the sake of this tip, we're looking to encourage prompts, right? I'm thinking giving an example is the best way to showcase this. But I do that, let me be clear. This is not a player asking a player or a GM asking a player all the time. This leading questions can be and should be out of the mouths of characters, whether it's an NPC or a PC. I am the GM. I have a player who's a barbarian. I might have a waitress or an NPC ally ask the question, what foe have you faced that you fear the most? And maybe the barbarian answers, I fear no one, and that's cool. And it says something about the badassery of that character. Or they may say, snakes, I hate snakes. And now they're showing some vulnerability, and that builds something interesting into their character. Or they may say something like, Ulrich, my half brother, who convinced all the young warriors of my tribe to go on some futile quest. Now we're cooking with gas. No one at the table knew of Ulrich, the fanatical half brother. Now they know, and that's cool. The other players know, the GM knows, and now this is a thread that the GM can use later on. He can bring Ulrich and his fanatical band of tribesmen somewhere along the path of the players. And it also begs up follow-up questions. Why didn't you go with Ulrich? Why didn't he convince you? What is Ulrich's insane quest? Now we're role playing and we're world building, right? Because the quest says something about the world. So I've played Dungeon World, Swords and the Serpentine, Stone Top, Iron Sworn the last few years, and made up the campaign settings as we play, in most of those cases. So and a lot of times either the system or the setting itself has some pre-generated questions, or I made some up for the session 0 or session 1 episodes. And I often do it when there's been a break in time during the campaign. Like, for example, when I come back to GM my Stone Top campaign, which we've been on hiatus for several months now because we're playing something else, I'm going to have 2 years pass. And a lot of refugees and immigrants have come to the once sleepy little village in those 2 years. So as a prep question, I might ask Ritter, a PC blacksmith who's already had difficulty keeping up with the demand for his services, this question. Ritter, with so many new people, another smithery has opened up. An immigrant from Gordon's Delve has come along. Do you have a cordial relationship with him slash her, them, or is it more of a rivalry? In any case, what is the one type of blacksmithing that they do really well? So I'm actually asking two questions, and I am asking this as a GM and not putting it to the mouths of an NPC. I mean, I certainly could have a villager come along and say, Ritter, how do you feel about Ugar the blacksmith, and start it that way. But in this case, because I'm trying to get in so much backstory, there's an immigrant from Gordon's Delve who has set up a smithery, and so I decided to just I will probably do that as just GM to player as opposed to NPC to PC. Um, what is interesting is those answers really matter in such a small town setting as Stone Top, because the relationships of its inhabitants can tie mechanically into, does the village support itself, or do people die in the winter? And so when you can combine leading questions with decent stakes, the players will care and get to respond through the lens of their character, and it gets easier the more you know their characters. So when I get back to Stone Top, I'll probably have 2 or 3 questions for each player, and maybe even a custom move or a love letter for each player to roll upon as well. But that's a technique for another video. I digress. But you can prepare some questions for by archetype or by race. So like in D&D terms, just off the top of my head, You can ask these as a player or a GM, but it's even better if it comes from an NPC bartender or a child or another PC sitting around the campfire. The following are super generic, and you can tailor questions much better as you get to know characters. But they're still a powerful tool, and they can lead to some really cool role playing and world building. So what I've got here is like cleric. What is your favorite ritual when you're showing gratitude to your god or gods? Bard. Who or what peoples did your favorite songs come from, and what are they mostly about? Wizard. What was that first moment like when you discovered or mastered your first spell? Rogue. What is the job or caper that someone else did that you wished you had pulled off? Elf. What is surprising you the most about living among humans? Dwarf. What human invention really impressed you? Tiefling. Who accepted you when so many were ready to shun you? Dragonborn. What do you wish non-Dragonborn knew about being Dragonborn? And there you have it. Those are sort of, D&D tropes, and the answers that you would get from, if you ask the same question through to three different players, you'll get three different answers. And that's the cool bit. I mean, that's the neat thing about role playing. You don't know what that conversation is going to be, and then you get to react to that conversation, and they get to react to you, and so on and so forth. So those are my thoughts on leading questions. Do you use leading questions at the table? Do you use other techniques? Let me know in the comments section below. Please subscribe because that helps me out a lot. Please slap a like on this video if it was helpful or entertaining. Check out other tabletop tips of the day and let us know if there's a tip that you would like to share. Until next time, keep on keeping on.